So this is interesting. This is more for Carl, really. It sounds unlikely.
Is it from a doctor saying you're an idiot?
We've got plenty of those. I tend to delete them.
Okay, right, yeah. Look at his face.
No, it just says, you know, don't like to complain, but I won the film competition about 5 or 6 weeks ago, and I haven't received my prizes.
Oh dear, that's all Carl has to do on the show. We provide the chat, the records, the light entertainment. I mean,
the glamour.
Strokes of comedy genius. All Carl has to do is send out the prizes and say, there was a monkey that was a bank robber at 5 to 3.
Yeah. What's your excuse, Carl?
Do you remember her winning? I've got all.
Well, you're calling her a liar?
Well, I am, because I don't remember ever seeing...
Right, he's calling her a liar.
So, Joanne Ogden, you're claiming, is just making this up. She sent this in on a whim, trying to fool us and get some cheap tat.
Wow.
I don't believe that. I don't believe anyone would lie to try and get Knowing Me, Knowing You on VHS. I really don't.
Well, I'll look in the records, because we keep all the details, so... Do you know what I mean?
Right. Well, one of you's in the wrong, and do you know what? Knowing you, Carl, I don't think it's Joanne.
No.
Has anyone else ever emailed in saying they haven't got the, bag of trap? No, they haven't. They haven't.
Well, yeah, one mistake's one too far, because that's one person, so, you know, you might send out 30, but that one person, that's the first time they've won a competition, they want the history of Wind, narrated by Donald McIntyre, on VHS, and, you know...
Stephen King's It, on Betamax.
Yeah. No, sometimes they want the best of Primal Scream on a cassette.
Exactly.
So, you know.
Got to make sure you're sending these prizes out. Final email from Andy. He says, the webcam, is pointing at the ceiling. Is it because the air conditioning vent is more exciting than what happens on the show?
Let's put that down now.
That's absolutely right.
Hold on a minute. Now, just, if someone... Is that good?
People love the webcam. I don't know what they're interested in, because all I get is a picture of Carl's big head.
It's not a big, it's just round.
Yeah.
Oh.
Got it right.
Yeah.
Carl, I'd like you to play the next tune. I got sent a little cheeky, primer for The Cure's Join the Dots. It's B-sides and rarities, lots of stuff from them, from all over the ages. And it's amazing how good their B-sides are. Here's one of them playing.
Yeah. Bones, Radiohead off the Benz album. I mean, might be my favourite album of all time.
You said it before, yeah. I can't say I've ever really got into it. I remember when it came out, it was just so ubiquitous everywhere, I never really bothered listening to it.
I can still listen to it every day. I mean, that might be sad, I don't know, but it's a fantastic album.
Yeah.
On XFM 104.9, just practicing for when we,
talk about music.
Talk more about music than maybe monkeys and people born without knobs, baby. Carl, any other thoughts?
Well, I'm not gonna tell you any more educating stuff yet.
You're gonna tease me with that, are you?
Leave you with, it Nelly died.
Yeah.
And get a load of this court case, right? But I want you thinking about...
Yeah, thinking about it, yeah, just getting my red juices ready.
About that.
Yeah, like an aperitif, yeah, sure.
But, I just educated you.
Yeah.
Right? And I watched The Office Christmas stuff on, last Sunday.
Did you enjoy it?
I think it was good.
Good.
I think it was good.
Thank you very much.
It was one of my favourites. The second one was good.
Yeah, okay, the second one, there's more the paybacks in the second one, the first one's more set up.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'd have thought people would like the second one more.
Yeah.
So that's nice. That's a nice critique, thank you, Carl.
But there was something in it you did about cavemen.
Cavemen?
You said something about, it was a fact about cavemen, and you sort of only half did it. You didn't give the full information, like...
What?
Like I do in that. You just...
Where was it? What bit was it?
It was the bit when you were talking about getting a woman, I think, or you were talking about breasts or...
Oh, the one where I said the reason women have cleavage is it reminds men of buttocks, because when we were cavemen we used to do you from behind.
Yeah.
Yeah. At the blind date, yeah.
Is that a joke, or...?
Well, I was hoping it was funny. We would... Oh, you mean, no, I don't know. Yeah, I think I did. I think cleavage is meant to represent, in a sort of Desmond Morris pop, sort of anthropology type way, I think I've seen that before, that, cleavage represents, buttocks. And I imagine, you know, cavemen probably did do it from behind. I don't know what you want to know, Carl, really. It's in a sitcom, it wasn't a documentary.
It looked like one.
Yeah. Brilliantly directed to look like one, I'll give you that.
No, but what you're saying, so blokes like
Yeah, I think cleavage is represented like buttocks, because obviously buttocks were much more of a sexual organ, evolutionarily speaking. Breasts were to actually bring up, to suckle young, but, and were a sign of sexual maturity, so you're ready to mate. But whereas, Carl, I'm not an anthropologist, mate, I'm struggling here, what do you need to know? Yeah, I imagine that the cleavage reminds you of an arse.
Right, well, if it's all about arse, why don't gays like a little bit of tit? No, do you know what I mean?
You've done me! So the question put to us today on XFM 104.9, please call me that, is, if it's all about arse, then why don't gays like a little bit of tit?
I was worried
If it's all about arse, why don't gays like tit? If it's all about arse, why don't gays like tits? Just call in with your... Thanks very much for tuning in. This is, in Children's TV. If it's all about arse, why don't gays like tit?
It's been an hour and a quarter before we got round to gays, so it's good to see the appearance.
If it's all about arse, why don't gays like a bit of tit? Is the question. What a brilliant question. Well, if you're an anthropologist or a psychologist, a doctor, a gay, please call in. If it's all about arse, this is the question.
I'm not convinced by this whole, cleavage looks like an arse, that's
No, not Steve, nor am I. It's a bit of mock anthropology. I didn't think it would be under scrutiny.
I think it's more likely that the reason men find cleavage attractive is because they know there's a lovely pair of Bristols down there.
Yes,
it's like, ooh, here we are.
If that's what's on show.
Exactly, imagine what's down below.
If that's in the front window, right, what's she got to go into the shop? Oh, dear! The Coral, Bill Mackay, on XFM 104.9. If it's all about arses, Steve, why don't gays like a bit of tit?
I think there might be a lecture on that at the Royal Institute tonight. I'm not sure.
Stephen Hawking.
Yeah, I think he's given a
Brilliant.
Tell you something else though, that's about cavemen and that.
Yeah.
Right?
Not really, go on.
Do you know,
I love the idea of a little gay fella. He's pulled a bird. He's just all he's done is focused on the cleavage, and he's gone, "That's a lovely arse." Right? He's got a back. Right? Pulls the dress down. No, where's the arse? I've been gone. There's boobs. Boobs. I hate. They're my worst. No. Right. Sorry, Carl.
cavemen and that.
Yeah. Back to it. Doesn't drop a beat, does he?
Do you know, like, when you get a bit scared, and the hairs on your back and that sort of go up?
Well, I haven't got a particularly hairy back, but go on.
No, but on your neck or whatever,
yeah.
On your head.
Do you know...
Not in your case, but sure.
Do you know where that comes from? Do you know why that happens?
Why it happens?
Yeah.
To look more fierce.
Yeah.
Probably residue of, like, the erectile tissue with the, you know, would make you look apes, and that would make you look slightly bigger, your outline bigger. Is that the answer?
Yeah, just cavemen in front of dinosaurs and that, they sort of went, oh. And then...
Well, it wasn't cavemen in front of dinosaurs, was it? Because cavemen weren't alive when dinosaurs were alive.
There was a couple knocking about.
Right, okay, fair enough.
There was a crossover point, surely.
Not dinosaurs like you're thinking
15
of.
million. Was the, yeah, probably the Ice Age, there were still big reptiles.
I think it's fairly common knowledge that the dinosaurs did not exist.
Well, who gave the dinosaurs the name?
Well, no. Well, no.
Who gave the dinosaurs the names?
He's using cavemen as any genus of Homo. I know he's thinking of the Flintstones, but I'm giving him like, you know, an instep into evolution here. But,
I should just point out, you know cavemen didn't have cars which they motored by running along the street.
And they didn't mix cement in pelicans.
You're aware of that?
Nirvana.
Amazing.
We were just talking, we were getting excited about that,
Yeah,
weren't we?
what an incredible voice he has.
And Grohl, do you know what I mean? It's brilliant. You know, you're right, the new one from Nirvana. Well, it's time for Educating Ricky Part 2, isn't it? I'm excited, Carl. I'm going to learn so much from this. What's the choices again? What
You've got left.
Still keep phoning your answers to, Email, sorry, yeah.
The answers to Rockbusters.
Yeah.
Right, okay, Educating Ricky, Part 2.
Right. I'm committed to this treatment.
Yeah.
Is one.
I've got to go for that one.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Or the other one is the police are causing a bit of a stir.
He still says it like it's the best thing he's ever come up with, which in a way it is.
It could be. Right, go on then. I'm committed to this treatment.
Right. Do you know the saying,
Oh, God.
Is it just sayings now? Are they all sayings this week?
No, they're not.
Okay.
No, the other one isn't. Frog in your throat?
The saying, there's a frog in your throat?
Yeah.
I assume it's when you croak a little bit. You sound like a frog.
No. Right, might seem a bit weird, this one, right? But years ago,
Oh, yeah.
So, what is that clue? Committed to this treatment?
it's about frogs Kermitted.
Probably works better with a K and an ER written down.
Well, also, if you'd pronounced it Kermitted,
yeah.
but not committed.
Committed to this treatment! Right, go on then.
That's genius.
So yeah.
Well, what?
You go to the doctors and you go with throat hurting a bit.
Right.
And what they did ages ago,
Ages ago, what year was this approximately?
we are going back quite a bit with this one.
Oh, okay, go on.
And the doctor would say,
Did history. Imagine years ago, go on.
and the doctor would say, right, keep your mouth open, I need to look at your tonsils. And the jaw would ache a bit, because they weren't as quick back then, because they didn't have the technology and stuff, and they'd have to, like, stare at it and study it and stuff. And, like, they get an achy jaw, right?
Keeping their mouth open.
Yeah, like you get, you know,
Yeah.
when you eat a Mars bar or whatever, it's so, they'd sat there, and they used to always close their mouth, and it used to annoy the doctor, right?
Sure.
So what they did, they used to get a toad,
Right.
and put it in the mouth,
Rubbish.
Okay, keep talking. Keep talking.
and that way they couldn't close their mouth, because either they'd squash it,
Right.
or apparently you're not allowed to lick a toad's back.
So the doctor would have them for breaking the law?
No, but it's poisonous, right? A toad's back. You should never lick a toad's back.
Or put it in your mouth, really.
Oh, just stop for a second.
Wait. What?
Can I just ask one question?
Go on,
Can I
yeah,
just
go
ask
on.
one question?
I've got a few, but
No,
go on.
sure. My initial thought is, it sounds like a brilliant bit of sort of medical knowledge there. It's a great idea.
Yeah.
My only thought is, how does the doctor see past the toad?
Yeah.
Your tonsils?
What's he actually looking at with the mouth open? Surely the toad is
Isn't
in
it
the
like
way.
hopping around in the way?
It didn't say.
Sorry, and my first question is, was this on the internet?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Carl, that is bollocks. That is, I mean,
Well, alright then. Let's turn this round. Where does the saying, you got a frog in your throat come from?
probably because you sound a bit croaky. Probably that. Probably because you sound a little bit like a frog when you've got a sore throat.
Carl, did you not question it just for a moment when you read it? Just for a second, didn't you think, that seems an odd approach? Firstly, why a frog, of all the different
Because
species?
it's poisonous. A toad.
So a toad, so it's a toad as well.
Yeah, well, that he worked, I'm committed, worked.
No,
my point is it's frog in the throat.
I was gonna change it to, have you heard the news Toad Day? But I went with the frog.
Oh God!
Right, so
that's
think
rubbish.
about it.
So that's rubbish. Next, can I have
Let's play a tune, let's come up with the
God.
last one.
Oh,
Can I just
play?
say, no, just play it.
yeah?
Yo, Carl.
I have to thank my mate Dave, who sent me an incredible 4-disc compilation. That was one of the tunes on there.
It looks professional, it's amazing.
It's incredible,
The
yeah.
effort
Oh,
is
he's gone to too much
commendable.
effort. Ben Queller, it's a track called In Other Words from his album Shah Shah.
Open wide. Oh dear, that's interesting. Oh, here, doctor. Look, you've actually got a frog in your throat. I didn't get there. I put it in there. That's the most ludicrous story I've ever heard, Carl. Why don't you think when you read these things?
I think there's always going to be a bit of truth in all of these. I mean, that fella called up, didn't he, and said, I'm not sure about the, putting a frog in your throat if you got, problems with your tonsils or whatever. But he said, years ago, if someone had toothache, they'd get hold of a frog and strap it to the face.
Yeah, sure.
So, maybe, down the line, maybe they did. Maybe they did do it
I think Caligula made his emperor a horse and emperor as well, but I mean, it doesn't... Go on.
Dick Anderson's been back in touch.
Excellent.
I think so. He's obviously...
We've turned him round, he loves it now,
he's been tuning in.
He loves it now.
He says, Ricky, thanks for a really forgettable 2 hours of radio. I think I'll spend the time next week counting my feet. That's from Richard Anderson. So, we've turned him round.
Do you know where the phrase counting my feet comes from? Well, in the olden days, right, and I'm talking ages ago, when you really loved something, you used to, as a sign of respect, like, say, a radio show, you'd count your feet. And that's where that comes from, Carl.
Well, what about the the frog thing with a poisonous back.
It's rubbish.
That's true. No, toads have the secretions in there.
Why?
But they didn't put it in people's mouths.
No. So, well, I'll tell you why. When a badger or a heron tastes the toad, it's horrible. Ugh. The toad might die, but it's for the good of the species, because then think how many toads looking like that heron could eat in its lifetime. So the fact that one toad sacrificed itself, all those other toads in that heron's manner will be safe.
Why? I mean, you know, we've talked about animals a lot on the show, right?
Yeah.
And when God made a toad,
Right. Okay. Well,
So
I'm
you
going to
see-
stop you there. I'm going to stop you there straight away.
Don't. Just let him carry on.
right?
Okay.
Like, there's annoying things out there, you know, jellyfish is a big problem with me. I don't understand what they do in the sea and stuff.
Right.
Right, but we'll leave them.
God's
right?
a problem for me, but go on.
We won't talk about jellyfish.
No.
With the toad, right, if it's to protect itself,
Yeah.
right, now
No, it's not to protect itself, it's to protect its species.
yeah, but that, surely, right, if the toad had a choice, if God said, right, what I'm gonna do for you here, you can have something like a lobster's got claws, big claws to have a fight. Or, I can give you something that if someone's having a go at you, you've got to try and persuade them to lick you back as a defence.
Yeah.
What use is, right,
Oh, God.
Well, I'll tell you why.
What is God
The
up
fact
to?
that there are still toads around is a testament to that defence working. That's all I'm going to say. Okay? If the toad had died out, you'd have a point. But they're still around. It works. Alright?
And don't start slagging God off. He's got a lot on his plate. Basically, I think he took on too much.
Particularly in 1 week.
Exactly. It was crazy.
Danger High Voltage, Electric 6, XFM 104.9, I'm Ricky Gervais, with me Steve Merchant. Carl's getting all flustered because I put an elastic band around his head. And we've had a definition of,
Well, hang on a
frog
sec,
in the throat.
because there's an update to that, Rick.
Go on.
We did just have, one, definition here of, a frog in the throat. Apparently this has come from some, internet site, so who knows, how convincing it is, but it says frog in the throat, meaning suffering from temporary hoarseness, needing to clear the throat. Origin from the Old English frogger, meaning hoarseness. That's from Chris. Now, that sounds slightly suspect to me.
Why?
But, frogger? I mean, it seems odd that it would derive from that when it so clearly appears to be. You sound like a frog when you have a sore throat.
Yeah, but the word frog could come from Frogger, because it
Frogger.
sounds like it's
I didn't know,
croaking.
wasn't Frogger a game you could play on the,
Yeah,
on the
FedEx
Spectrum?
Spectrum,
Oh, it's a great
yeah.
game. But
Yeah.
listen, hang on, there's an update to that, because, just to
The common frog, of course, Rana temporara, that's the Latin name.
Well,
Your toad is Buffo Buffo. All
you
right?
may be trying to show off, but I think you're about to embarrass yourself as well,
on.
because you've been slagging off young Carl.
Yeah.
It says here, another email, it doesn't tell us who it's from. Although it's hard to believe now, at one time, medieval physicians believed that the secretions of a frog could cure a cough if they were coated on the throat of the patient. That in itself
Yeah.
sounds repulsive, but what makes the idea even worse is the application of the secretions. Instead of painting the treatment on, something which may also have seemed rational, a live frog was placed into the mouth of the sufferer, where it remained until the physician decided that the treatment was complete.
Right.
Apparently Shakespeare's son-in-law, that's a question mark, I don't know what that means. Anyway, it's no wonder that today a froggy or croaky attempt at speech is said to be a frog in your throat. So, you can see that what's happened there is Carl's misread, or been slightly misinformed about, a medieval practice. In a sense, you're both winners, just for taking part. What's your final one, Carl?
Right, the final story is, the police are causing a bit of a stir.
I can't wait.
It's about this fella, I think it's in England somewhere.
Yeah.
Don't know when it happened, but,
Literally ages ago, or?
basically, well, I think it's when they were trying to crack down on, like, drunken people walking about in the street.
Oh, yeah.
And they found this
Saturday. It's Saturday, that one.
and found this fella, and all the local people were saying, oh, look at him wandering around, he's drunk and what have you. That's not right, get the police in. He got arrested and that, and they got him in the court, and the judge was there, and he says, so, you know, what's all this? What's going on? What are you doing wandering about when you've had a drink? You know the rules. You shouldn't be doing that. You had a glazed expression on your face. Blah, blah, blah. What do you have to say for yourself? He only had a glass eye.
So
that
you have
was-
2 glass eyes.
I had one. But that was, they were about to sort of lock him up.
Was he a bit pissed up as well?
Well, he was pretty livid.
But was he also drunk with a glass eye?
No, that's the weird thing. He wasn't even, he hadn't even had a drink.
So they just thought, because he had a weird stare.
Because his eyes were all glazed.
Yeah. Where'd you get this from? Why are you telling me this? Yeah, but why are you telling me this? I mean, thank you, because it's, you know, killed a couple of minutes, but why is this educating me? What are you telling me here?
Because there's a bit of a thing there, a bit of a fable, that don't always judge a book by its cover. Yeah? So, the guy, he hadn't even had a drink. He'd probably just been shopping.
Yeah.
Walking down the street, and everyone's like getting involved. Like, what's he doing?
Hang on, I don't understand. He's walking down the street, happens to have a glass eye. He was doing nothing else to suggest he was drunk. You don't pick people up just because their eye looks like that.
But even if it happened, why are you telling me? With no particular detail. I know this, but then we're gonna get
It's not
people...
enough information.
I know, yeah.
No, there's a bit of a lesson there, educating Ricky. Just, you know, just watch what you say. Don't always jump to conclusions.
The only education I can take from that is that, if I ever do become a policeman, I shouldn't just arrest people because they look a bit drunk. I should just tap their eye with a pen and go, oh, okay, on you go.
Well,
On you go, yeah.
Guys, can I just look at that? I'm just going to email Richard Anderson and tell him I agree.
right, listen, we're running out of time and that.
Where did the phrase frog in the throat come from?
We've got
it here. He's been told.
Well, there's three.
Can we play a tune and come back with that? Have we got anything lined up?
yeah, we've got the song with the story in it.
Come on, Carl, let's do something. Quick, play a record.
Song with the story in it.
But never
this
mind
week.
that, just, they're listening. We discussed this off air, come on. Play a record.
Right, it's Kings. It's a song with a good story in it. You got to listen to the words.
Carl, what was that? That was your little song with a story.
That's another little feature that we do every Saturday.
So make sure you tune in.
It's a song that's got a good story in it. There's a lot of music about these
What's
days.
that story about then? What's that story
You don't
about?
know what they're going on about. Whereas that classic from the Kinks called Lola.
Yeah, what's it about?
I'd listened to it for the first time properly this morning.
Yeah.
And what I've worked out from it is, there's a fella who goes out for a normal Saturday night out. He's in Soho.
Yeah.
He's having a Coca-Cola or whatever. And he sees this woman, and he thinks, yeah, she's alright. Won't mind a bit of that. So he wanders over, and he sort of gets talking to her. He looks at her, and she's got a great figure, nice face and all that.
Lovely knob.
And she speaks, and he goes, oh God, got a bit of a bloke's voice.
Yeah.
Got a bit of a voice like a bloke. But he thought, but you know, that's her only down point.
Sure.
So he dances around with her, and I think he sits on his knee, I think he said.
Yeah.
Anyway, it turns out it's a fella.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
a sobering lesson.
Yeah.
What do you take from that?
Look, always sort of, if you think you might be talking to a
bloke in
bloke,
drag.
just look at it, he's sort of Adam's apple. And he'll probably have a hairier arse than a woman.
Yeah, I think you've gone too far then, though. I think you're already getting too close.
It's a bit late to pull out.
No, pun intended, definitely.
There was a pun intended.
Oh, was it? Alright, was it?
Yes.
Alright, okay, we don't be disgusting then.
Of course, as ever, lots of questions for Carl as well, just to sort of try and tap into his brain, see what's going on there. Question from Jade. Carl, what would you change if you were in charge of what kids are taught in school? Right, you know, because, I mean, your school experience was a bit iffy. You got very bored, didn't you? You got very disillusioned by school.
Yeah. What I'd do, right, is, instead of sort of teaching kids about 2 and 2 and that, she's 4, right?
Well done.
Show off.
I think they should be asked more questions that make them think rather than something that has just got an answer,
I totally agree.
right? So,
So teaching them the quest for knowledge, inflaming their
but
imagination.
just freaking them out a bit as well, just going like...
See, I knew that's where it was going. Because as soon as you started talking, Rick, I was thinking you're thinking some of the big existential or philosophical questions. You know, what does it mean to be human? What does it mean to interact with other humans? To be a human.
Or teaching them sort of like philosophy on a basic level, that, you know, teaching them the love for learning. So, you know, get them back to a roots level so they want to learn and then they will learn, as opposed to just teaching them facts.
Whereas
he was thinking, freak them out a bit.
Yeah.
No, just like, you know, like I read the other day, and someone sent it in on email, like, how there's a dishwasher that's been found on Mars.
Rubbish.
Whoa, what?
But it's not true.
So tell them that.
But it's not true.
Go home and write about it. How did that happen?
But it didn't happen.
Well, it did happen. It was in a science magazine.
No, it didn't happen. There's not a dishwasher on Mars.
Why not?
Because
What do you mean, why not?
how did it get there?
But we're always sending, like, rubbish out there and that. It's like...
Not dishwashers. What, you think the council take it away and they go, where can we put it? Well, the tip's full. Well, where's the nearest thing we can dump this? Mars, I imagine.
No, but the same way that fella who, I don't know, was it 2 Christmases ago when he was messing about saying I can get stuff to Mars and all that, he did it wrong because he did it on like Boxing Day, and I just think nobody's concentrating. No one wants to work on that day. It's kind of like, do you know what I mean? They're going to do stuff sort of half-arsed, aren't they, on Boxing Day? So it didn't really get there, I don't think, but it crash-landed.
What are you talking about? What was he trying to do?
He was sending something up to Mars.
Yeah, that little fella that wanted to get something on Mars, and it got,
probe, you mean?
And it didn't open properly.
Yeah.
It got there, didn't open.
But the thing is, it got there, it didn't open properly. No one's been back to pick it up. And what I'm saying is, we're saying about going to Mars as our next planet. It's a tip. There's loads of stuff that's been flirted up there.
No, it's not.
What are you talking about?
It's just all, like, that probe thing is still there, rotting away.
Yeah. So, ipso facto, there is a dishwasher on Mars. We've settled that. Why would they have a dishwasher on Mars? Would they take the dishwasher up in the space shuttle in case they had dinner parties? What are you talking about?
I just think they would have a little dishwasher in there. There's a lot of them, tight space. You don't want to, but who's going to do that? You know, that means...
Do you know how much fuel it takes to move a kilogram
Yeah.
out of the Earth's atmosphere? So they're going to take up a dishwasher, are they?
Sorry, but what are they cooking up there, Carl?
How many people does it take to fly a rocket?
I...
How many people? Tell me how many people.
Well, it's either one monkey with a banana shoe that feeds it, or probably 2 or 3 humans.
Right, say it's 3 humans.
Yeah.
Now there's 3 humans because they need one to steer it.
One to stop at the petrol station to
but
get more...
what I'm saying is, if you're going to start having a sink, then whoever's
They
washing
haven't got
up...
a sink.
I know, because they've got a dishwasher.
He's got you there.
But anyway, I'm not going to go into that. But all I'm saying is, teach kids things about... Say to them, right, when you go home tonight, there was dinosaurs knocking about ages ago. How would you have lived with them? Get on with it. See you later.
Well, they didn't. I've told you this before. You got a lot of your information from the Flintstones and 1 million years BC with Raquel Welch. There weren't dinosaurs knocking around where there were little fellas knocking around in furry pants.
No, but just sort of saying to them, all right, then, here's a different question.
Go on then.
Would it be better to have dinosaurs knocking about now whilst we're here? Because I put that in my diary the other day. That when you think about it, there's a population problem.
Yeah.
There's too many of us.
Yeah.
We're saving people all the time. No one's allowed to get injured anymore. You've got to, wear a helmet when you're on a bike. There's speed bumps to slow people down. Zebra crossing. Cures for illnesses. No one's dying anymore, right?
Well, I think they are.
Not as many as they should be, because the world's crowded. All I'm saying is
I think there's still people dying. I think there's still people dying.
not that many, though.
Yeah, I think there's still millions of people dying.
Apparently, a handful.
Loads of people are living longer. And that's a problem.
So
what
you
I'm saying
feel that
is,
you should introduce Tyrannosaurus Rex into,
wandering
say,
about, wandering
London, just have them wandering around, just picking people off.
That's what. Just sort of random and that. Because I don't know. I mean, I'm not wishing that anyone I know dies and that. But all I'm saying is, I don't know anyone who's died for ages.
Right.
Whereas if a dinosaur was knocking about, you'd go, Neil's gone missing.
Yeah.
And
And Nora's had her head bitten off by a...
Whatever. I just think then it is survival of the fittest, which is, we've lost all that now. You don't even have to be fit to survive. They just keep sticking a new lung on you. Or... Do you know what I mean? They can do too much now to keep people going.
They just keep sticking a new lung on you.
Question from Kevin. He says, Carl, other than the famous boxing match that you've often talked about, I know that took up about 20 minutes of your time, have you ever been in any other kind of fight? I don't suppose a slanging match. I think they're talking of ever been in a physical fight.
Once that I can remember. It was over a woman. Well, a girl. I was at school.
Yeah.
And it was because, like, it's hassle, innit? Right? Relationships when you're younger.
How old were you?
About 7.
It was over a woman.
Go on then. Yeah, go on.
And there was this girl knocking about who, she was quite good looking, everybody liked. And my mate, he really liked her. And I didn't sort of ask her out and that, but she just sort of took a shine to me and stuff. Right? And didn't really go out with her properly. It's at that age where going out with someone is just like sort of going, all right, in the morning, do you know what I mean? You just sort of nod your head.
Yeah.
And that. Anyway, there was some sort of school disco. And they were playing Spin the Bottle or something. Right? And I sort of wandered over to see what was going on. And I stood on this girl's dress and put a hole in it. And she started crying. I was like, oh, I can't be doing with this. Right? What's up with you? It's a hole, what's up with you? And everyone's going, Carl, what are you doing? That's meant to be your girlfriend and that. You should be sort of saying, oh, I'm sorry, and giving her a hug and all that, and saying it'll be all right, we'll sort the dress out. I said, oh, I can't be dealing with this. Right? So she's crying her eyes out, so it's over, right?
Oh, it's over, you saying, all right, in the morning. Yeah.
No more of that.
Yeah, there's no more. Right. In the morning.
So I go to the toilet, right? And this lad who fancies her comes in and goes, you're out of order, And I'm saying, what are you on about?
Sorry, there's two 7-year-olds.
7-year-olds.
You're out of order. Keep out.
Cut it out. Show her a bit of bloody respect.
Sorry, were you wearing trilbies?
Yeah. He put his cigarette out in the sink, and he just said, "Leave it."
Get out of my face.
So I just sort of said, look, why are you getting involved and all that?
Yeah.
Two 7-year-olds. Why are you getting involved?
And it was obviously like, because, you know, he fancied her and that. We had a bit of a fight in there. I accidentally, you know, sort of chipped his tooth on a sink.
Wow, is it like a proper...
Sorry, this is like someone from Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Two 7-year-olds in a toilet.
So you put a hole in her dress. I don't know how that... What were you wearing, football boots? How did you make a hole in her dress?
I don't know, it was like that sort of material.
You were
like,
wearing winkle pickers.
like crepe, you know what I mean? It was like a crepe dress or something.
Yeah.
Right.
And that got a hole in it.
So you're having and when you say you're having a fight, I mean, are you wrestling with it? You got arm locks and
a little
head
bit of
locks?
wrestling and shoving about and that, and it was an accident. I didn't sort of go, right, I'm going to break your teeth or anything. It's just that I happened to push his head down, and his tooth hit the sink,
Right.
and it chipped and what have you. After that, like I sort of left there and stuff, and we had to go into assembly, and there was a copper in there doing some presentation saying, "Listen, kids, you know, don't get into trouble, because we're out there and we'll get you." Right, so sort of trying to teach the kids young not to get into any trouble and stuff. So I'm sat in the assembly room thinking, oh God, there's a copper here talking, and like my mate's going to come in a minute, like with a chipped tooth and everything. And
Questions are going to get asked.
that's what kind of happened. I mean, the coppers didn't get involved.
Yeah.
Did you turn your back on violence after that then?
Yeah. He said, "You'll never take me alive, copper."
So yeah, that was the sort of last fight.
Brilliant.
Some of the questions coming in now, Rick, are just, I don't know what they're intending. What response they're hoping for, really. This is one from Rob. He just says, I was just wondering, what are Carl's views on the human appendix?
What do you think, Carl? What do you think of the human appendix?
Never worried about it.
Well, no, I think Rob's point is that it's sort of pretty redundant now.
So this is kind of what we've talked about before, where
He always says that. He always says something like, "Oh, we've talked about it as well," and the thing that he's talked about is nothing like it.
what I mean is we've obviously interfered somewhere along the way, and
Well,
we
we
shouldn't
have
done.
interfered,
Yeah,
yeah.
well, we shouldn't have done, because it's the same way. Like if we didn't have planes and that, would we have wings now? If we'd have
No.
needed to get about,
No.
would we have had wings?
No, the answer's no. Next.
No, but you say that, but look at the
Because
way.
he's right, he says it because he's right.
No, but all I'm saying is you see that little picture of like an ape to man.
Yeah.
At first, they're crawling about on all fours because probably you're looking for food, so you want to be down there. So
Right.
if you're on both legs,
Yeah.
you're missing stuff that's on the floor.
What sort of time period do you think this... Because, I mean, we started, dabbling with a plane maybe 100 years ago. So what sort of time period do you think this little thing who's scrabbling around looking for food stood up and
I don't
walked?
know. I sort of don't worry about time. Sort
Right.
of
Well, I'll
behind-
tell you now, we
behind
wouldn't have
Rome.
wings now. If the Wright brothers had said, "Oh, forget it," we wouldn't have wings now.
Oh, we're having a laugh, aren't we? Little Carl with his sandwich and
cheered
that.
up, hasn't he?
I'm still bruised where you punched me in the shoulder, showing that you could box.
Yeah, to be fair though, Rick, you do think that you're now a professional boxer
I'm
because
like
you've been on the telly
like
boxing.
Marciano, yeah.
No, he does. I mean, he laughs about it, but he does walk around thinking, yeah, I could probably handle myself in a street brawl.
In fact, I walk around handling myself
Yeah.
a lot of the time, don't I, Carl?
And often Carl.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I love it's because his little round head. I've got another mate that's got a little bald head, and I'd like to squeeze it. I'd just like to see how far. Do you know what I mean? Like an egg, you can squeeze it that way, sort of sideways, and that hurts. But then squeeze it forward to back, it doesn't hurt so much, does it?
Do you know what worries me though? I think if you ever actually did crack Carl's head, I think yolk would come out.
Yeah, he was drawing, and I gave him a little karate chop on the back of the neck, and he jumped. He spasmed.
Sorry, you gave him a karate chop on the back of the head?
Yeah.
To be fair though, I think I'd spasm, Rick. If a man crept up behind me and karate chopped me in the neck,
Oh,
that's
didn't I
probably a
laugh,
natural
Carl?
reaction.
Didn't I laugh,
Oh,
eh,
yeah,
Carl?
this is right. Good laugh.
Oh, so we got lots of little things to get through. I mean, look at his little face. You're right. We had a little lunch yesterday, didn't we?
We did indeed, that was a nightmare.
Yeah.
I hate going out with you two.
I was explaining to Carl, right? I like to excite Carl's imagination, right? And if it involves chimps or monkeys, all the better. Brains he likes, parts of the body, deformity. You know, I know where to, what buttons to push. And I told him about this thing. I don't know if any of you out there know about this, but there's an experiment they did in the 50s, a clinical psychology experiment where there's your two hemispheres of the brain. Okay, they're joined by a thing called the corpus callosum, right, which is just a little flap of skin, like a little scartly that joins your two hemispheres. And what they did, they cut that in half, and they thought it was a cure for schizophrenia. But what it turned out to be, or epilepsy, I think, I can't remember, was that your two sides of your brains didn't function together. You couldn't get information. I was telling Carl all this thing, and one of the things I told him was that they did it on a monkey, and it fought itself over a nut. Like, its right arm was connected, you know, by its left lobe of the brain, and it was fighting over itself. And Carl went, instead of like thinking this is amazing experiment, he went, would it have been happy if you'd given it two nuts?
Yeah, I know. Well, you started off by explaining it, and I remember you mentioned, because I was watching the two of you as you were describing it to me, you said, of course, one side of the brain deals with symbolism, and as you said the word symbolism, I noticed Carl drift away from looking at you, pick up his mobile phone, and start pressing buttons randomly. And I thought it was the word symbolism that got him, and I noticed it took you just a moment longer, and I think the first thing you said was, when did I lose you?
Yeah, I know I'd lost him.
It's extraordinary, and he doesn't even try to disguise
I said nomenclature at one point as well.
Right, yeah.
And I knew I was dicing with death there.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
but I told you tried to look it up, didn't you, on the web? You didn't find anything about it, did
the
you?
spelling of it's, what is it again? What's the word?
Corpus callosum.
Yeah, so, I couldn't do it.
No, it's no point.
Yeah.
Don't bother.
Give up.
Don't bother.
Give up.
So if anyone knows any interesting facts about that,
I don't expect yours hasn't been cut in half, has it, Carl? That would, again, might explain something.
I'll tell you what we will be talking about later. I don't know if you're sort of aware of them, Steve.
Go on.
Bonobos.
Oh, I
don't know much about bonobos.
I told him about, he was looking for stuff. I said, put in bonobo. He was having no luck with chimp. And they're a form of chimpanzee, but, they're even closer to us, evolutionarily speaking. They've got their social, groups are more like ours. They're more intelligent. And he was loving it, weren't you?
So is it human bonobo Carl? Is that how it works on the evolutionary ladder?
Chimp Carl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talking about 'em.
So we're talking about bonobos, you're excited about that?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
Coming up in, Monkey News?
No, I think it's a bit of a monkey bonus.
Phone up if you want to play XF Family Fortunes.
Now, a lot of people, of course, won't be familiar with this because we played this in the very early days of XFM.
Yeah.
Do you want to explain the rules, or do you just want people to phone in?
It's like Family Fortunes. We need two of you. I asked
Do you remember we discussed this before? You can't say that.
Yeah. And so get two on the line, you're competing against each other, and so it's fingers on the buzzers. Will you stop chewing, picking your teeth? I mean, even if the listeners can't, it really annoys me.
It is a bit like having a chimp in the room.
Do you know what I mean, Carl?
Alright.
Have you ever seen him eat hot food?
No.
Honestly, it is like a chimp. He's gonna- Oh, what are you doing? What? Just get... Oh, God.
Or like the Cookie Monster.
Yeah. Oh, God. I'm never annoying, Carl, so why are you? Do you know what I mean, Steve?
You're so annoying. Have you been with him for trying to have lunch with Ricky?
Yeah.
It's the hardest thing possible.
Yeah.
You wander around for hours. It's a combination. It used to be bad even before he was a celebrity because he has a tolerance level. It's extraordinary. I mean, he is irritated by a car honking its horn in the street. It's like, I can't believe it, let's go in here, I'm so angry. He gets annoyed by police sirens, by rain, wind, birds in the air, other people in the streets.
They're the most annoying.
Children particularly, whether they're in a school playground we happen to be walking past, whether they're on TV.
It's just noise that isn't mine.
Well, I know, but this is the thing, you are the most irritating man I've ever met, without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, you know that, Carl, don't you? I mean, noises he makes, it's extraordinary. I mean, I've been editing some behind-the-scenes footage we shot of, making the second series of The Office. It's extraordinary. I've had to cut sequences out involving Ricky because they'll just think he's a giver, just think he's an idiot, like some kind of puppet that the rest of us are controlling, because he's shouting, he's whistling, he's honking, he's making noises, he's dancing around. It's extraordinary. And if you're out trying to find somewhere to eat with him, all these irritants, all these annoyances, and it's, oh, that music's too loud, I don't like that particular song, I'm not going in there, there's more than 8 people in that cafe, I'm not going in there. It's just extraordinary. I think we need a woman. I'm thinking of hiring a woman, like a PA, to just go out ahead of us, scout ahead of us, go in, you know, and she can just phone back and say,
Oh, sexist. Oh.
or a guy.
Oh, that's
or a fella.
Oh. Oh, sexist.
or a fella, just to scale ahead.
Oh, I'm
phone
thinking
back.
of hiring a woman, subservient role. We couldn't hire him. Oh no. Oh, sexist.
Well, that or a chance to meet a woman.
Yeah.
That I'm also paying.
It's like paying for him.
Exactly.
Slightly more above board.
Yeah.
So, if you want to play Family Fortunes, call up. What's the number?
08700 800 1234.
Yeah, it's just like Family Fortunes. Two of you are competing for some great prizes, and I go. Something you know how it goes, and then you go Buzz and play it on board.
It's not as high tech.
Please welcome to the show, lovely Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant and Karl Pilkington. Hello.
Hey.
One person clapping.
I was the lovely, wasn't I?
Yeah.
Or was that a communal lovely?
It was a communal lovely for everyone.
Okay, brilliant. No, I'm happy with that. We're all lovely.
G-Man, I like the G-Man. Do you remember we were in before?
Yeah.
He's a good
Yeah,
guy. One of the
G-Man.
good guys. One of the good dudes.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
It wasn't live though, was it?
Oh, we had a
he
lot of
probably
fun.
cut it all out,
Yeah,
didn't he?
all the good stuff.
All the,
You know,
yeah.
a lot of it was cut out of
Is
that
this live
interview.
now, Graham?
We are absolutely live.
So all the stuff cut out was probably that we talking about. We hadn't. You don't play Gary Glitter anymore.
There was various bits that were cut out, and
Yeah.
I definitely haven't kept the whole interview for my personal collection at home.
No.
I definitely haven't done
Why
that.
would that be a problem?
I don't know. It's true. It's just an observation.
So, Ricky, you've been on this show. I've got to move on. You've been on this show a million times now. Welcome back again. Steve, this is your second go.
Yep.
But Karl, it's lovely to meet you.
All right, how's it going?
Really
Is this
good,
for the
thank you.
webcam? This right. So just get how round that head is. Don't get behind the microphone.
I've worked in radio, and you should never play up to what's going on in the studio.
Yeah.
Really?
Think about the listener at home.
Right. When have we ever done that or cared? And
just
when
saying.
has Radio 1 ever done that or cared?
It's weird how now I'm back in a radio studio. That used to be my old job. I feel like I should be controlling a few things here. There's a few more people in here who don't need to be in here.
How would you sort out the G-Man show then? What's disappointed you so far?
Is there a bed playing under us at the moment?
There is a bed,
Get
yeah.
rid of that.
You wanna get rid of it?
I think that annoys people, that.
Okay.
It's almost like saying what these people are saying now isn't worth hearing, so it's a little bit of music.
That's definitely true.
All right,
yeah.
put the music back
What, so
on.
you want the music on or off?
No, off.
Okay.
No, let's be interesting. Let's try and be interesting. Okay.
Right, what else
Go on
do we
then.
do?
What else
What
do
else
you
did you change?
You haven't got a wacky name, have you? It's just Greg James.
Yeah, shall I get
It's G-Man. It's G-Man now.
haircut?
G-Man.
No, don't
G-Man.
do that. You did that with me. You called me the K-Man. I hated it.
Do you not like the
Well,
game,
yeah, but you didn't like us calling you an empty-headed, shaven chimp moron either.
That hasn't stopped us.
No, you can't win with Karl.
Anyway.
Have you been to Radio 1 before, Karl?
I have, yeah. I was on, is he still here? Still working here?
Who?
Nihal.
Yeah?
Yeah,
He's still
he
there?
was good.
Oh, he's good
He was
now,
good.
yeah.
He was alright, I met him. Lovely
Yeah.
fella.
Good.
A lot of changes, though, all the time in radio. You never know what you're getting.
That's true.
Yeah.
But you've been here for a while now.
Apart from
3
Fluff
years.
Freeman, I mean, he was around for about 120 years. Yeah, maybe you'll be like Fluff one day.
Hopefully, pop pickers.
Yeah.
So what we're talking about, then?
Well, I don't know. I mean, the lovely
mean you
thing.
don't know?
Well, no, I mean, talking about your new DVD. But
Yes, we've got the DVD out of the animated show taken from the podcast of the same name, the Ricky Gervais Show. But everyone knows who's listened to it, and there's been a lot of people. We've had about 230 million downloads. Okay, this is on TV in America and England. The DVD's coming out around the world, right? And it should be called, and I know this. It should be called the Karl Pilkington Show because it is the musings of a little round-headed
People struggle.
twonk.
People struggle with my name.
do they?
Really? Why?
Just a Pilkington. They can't say it. I don't know what's wrong. It's so easy. It's spelled as it looks.
Yeah.
Man, you've just been on Dale Winton's show. He called me Nigel. Normally it's a surname that's a problem. He called me Nigel. Seriously.
What did you call him in return?
No, well, I was a bit sort of. I was chuffed to be meeting him because I've watched him a long time.
He's a big fan.
I like
Big
In It
fan,
to
aren't
Win
you?
It. I was telling him about In It to Win It. He wasn't that interested there, was he?
No.
It was just like he treated me like some fan. He just went, yeah, thanks for that.
You should have just called him Steve Wright.
Well, yeah. I liked him though. He's a nice bloke, but he just annoyed me.
Greg, are
that's
you
all.
familiar with Karl? Have you heard the podcast or seen the
Absolutely.
animation?
I was going to say, well, I used to listen to the show on that radio station years and years ago when I was
How
at
would
school.
you, if you're listening, say there's someone listening at home, right? They love you, they trust you,
Yeah.
they respect you.
You are the demographic. These kids go, well, he's
He
like
knows
our
what's going on.
leader.
Right. So, which I'm
That's
sure is true.
frightening, isn't it?
So, you're not in school anymore, you're not being bullied, you're on the radio, you're all powerful.
You got long trousers, I noticed.
Exactly.
I have.
So, well done.
So, how would you explain Karl to people listening at home who are not familiar with him?
I think just a muse,
yeah, he is.
a wise sage.
I can't get enough of him. I mean, myself and Stephen, we sort of probably come across as sort of like bullying media types, but it's purely to get out what I know is in Carl's head, and he sees the world differently. He is a proper artist. You ask him anything you want about any subject, and it's remarkable. And I did the podcast just to be in a room with him, asking him questions and teaching him stuff. Like we feel like we're, I don't know, it's like an Eliza Doolittle. We're trying to make him, or we found something sort of and thawed it out, and it was from an era gone by.
One of my favourite bits is actually on this. I think it's the first episode of the series. Is the one?
Not impressed, Carl? First episode?
No, episodes 1 to 4 or 5, very, very weak.
Do you think?
Yeah.
That's
Honestly.
unbelievable.
He's trying
isn't
to
it?
sell this DVD.
We're trying to sell a DVD around the world, and he comes out with episodes 1 to 4 very weak.
But there was an ideal that you had about, you thought that old people should kind of die and then a child falls out of them when they. Can you
Let's hear
explain
the
that
theory
theory?
again.
Because it's a
Well, no, he
brilliant
thinks that
theory.
people are living too long.
I'm not
What was
gonna
the?
go
Because
over
do you think that people are living too long? So
He
this
thinks
was,
people living too long, he said, because people can't die anymore, because when you're dying, someone suddenly sticks a new lung on
No.
you. Lung.
There's
A
been
new lung on
loads
you.
of different theories.
Yeah,
There's
and
loads
they've
of different
all been
ideas.
mental.
Okay, let me hear, because I want to.
My favourite one, which I don't know if it's the same one that you're talking about, but the aging backwards thing
that's it. Yeah.
is good. But then a fella nicked it, didn't he? Made a film out of it with Brad Pitt. So now everyone's going, boo, it's not your idea.
Hang on, no, you weren't suggesting it as a film idea. You were suggesting we should do this in real life. Somehow we should make people grow backwards.
His suggestion of a film idea, he actually got a meeting with a film company, so this is the first episode of Series 2, won't be out till next year, but he had a meeting with a real film company. They said, have you got any ideas for films? And he said yes, right? And the thing that he told them was the ramblings of a madman.
Greg,
Let's hear the idea. Let's hear the idea.
I want to hear the idea again
Right.
because it's
Imagine
people who
this,
haven't heard
though.
it. It's
Remember,
brilliant.
I'm going to a meeting with a film company in Soho, right? So I'm thinking, maybe they want me to play a part, right? I haven't tried acting. I did Little Donkey, in the Christmas play, but I was all right. I went down well on the stage. My acting job.
Let him finish his.
Well, your dad was filming it, wasn't he? And he
Carried away, Ricky.
He got back, okay, and his dad has been filming it, right? And he listened back to his dad on the camcorder, and his dad said he looks like a right prat. And he heard that when he got home.
Yeah, but listen, anyway, so I go into this meeting, and I go, right, I'm Carl, you called me in. They went, yeah, sit down. Loads of croissants and that, you know what it's like in Soho.
Yeah.
Went in there, he said, right, listen, got any film ideas? Now, when you're in that situation, you've got to come up with something. It's like in The Apprentice. None of them people in The Apprentice ever go, I don't know, I haven't got any ideas here. You've got to come up with something. And I find that if you just talk, stuff comes out.
Okay.
Because your brain's going, I've got to come up with something, so just keep going. So
Bits of
it's-
food, back.
No, but just
Anything.
just say anything for a bit.
Chewing
Just go,
gum,
yeah,
he should be
films.
chewing, but it just fell out because he was talking, hadn't concentrated on keeping it in.
It's false
Things
teeth.
like that, yeah.
Anyway, listen to this for a film idea,
Yeah.
and then we can have a song.
Brilliant. You're in
Right.
charge now, yeah?
So
producing.
what I'd say is, I picked the actors for them. I said Rebecca De Mornay
Yeah.
and Clive Warren.
Right, yeah.
Right, so
We pointed out that Clive Warren doesn't actually exist.
Well, no,
He
he's
means
a-
Clive Owen.
Clive Warren's a former Radio 1 DJ.
Brilliant. Well, he doesn't. He has a,
that's probably why it's in my head.
Yeah,
That's why.
Yeah, Rebecca De Mornay, who Steve pointed out, has not been on television or film for 15 years.
Out of anyone you
so
could have
now he's pitched someone who doesn't exist and a woman who hasn't been on telly or
What
film
would you
for
do?
years.
Pick someone who's in everything. Let's
Okay.
get Will Smith. Boring.
Right. Okay.
Sick of seeing him. Where's
Yeah.
Rebecca?
Biggest film star in the world.
So what? I'm
Get me
sick of
Clive
him.
Warren, he was
He's
on
in every
Capital
film.
Radio
He's
for a
in
while.
every film. Where's Rebecca?
Yeah, Rebecca who?
In the morning.
I don't. Who's that?
Shut up.
I want to see
wanna know.
Dangerous Dave Pearce in a movie.
Let's have a song.
This is Bass Hunter. That is Bass Hunter and Saturday
Brilliant.
on Radio 1.
Steve's favourite.
Do you like that one, Steve?
Oh, man alive. If I'm not down a dance club, dancing to dance clubs. The dance club.
I don't know. When they put on the gramophone and you cut the rug.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Carl, so this idea, okay, you got Clive Warren. You
Rebecca De Mornay.
Yeah, you got the big names, you got the big hitters.
There's no
okay?
one listening to Radio 1 who knows who Rebecca De Mornay is.
No, she was in The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. Clive Warren does not exist.
Ask him.
Apparently, by coincidence, he was a DJ on Capital or something, okay? But that's not what he meant. He thinks he means Clive... Well, he means Clive Owen, he just doesn't know anything about the film industry, so carry on.
Don't worry about that because he's got a great idea.
So
Yeah,
what was
what's
the
the
idea,
idea?
Carl? What was it?
So anyone who's just tuned in now,
Yeah.
a bit confused, they've just put
Yeah,
the
Carl
radio
was called for a meeting by a British film company and said, have you got any ideas? Just think of their faces. Just think of the executives' faces when he pitched them this.
on. Right, so there's the cast. slip that over to him on a bit of
They're
paper.
writing down Clive Warren. Wow, we haven't heard of him. Must be new. Wow,
Right.
this guy's fantastic. Rebecca De Mornay. Or maybe he's doing a John Travolta that Tarantino did. He's bringing. It's amazing. Carl Pilkington's a genius. Right, what's the idea, Carl?
Right, the idea is...
Go on.
Rebecca, I mean, I can't remember all of it. I might get some of these facts wrong now.
Well, no more facts
It's a
anyway,
different
because you
meeting.
can't even remember who exists and who doesn't. But go on, carry on.
Basically, Rebecca De Mornay is going out with Clive Warren. Right? Clive Owen, as we now know it is. Clive Owen, he starts off all lovey-dovey.
Yeah.
They're in the house in the morning like they do in American films. Cornflakes, milk going everywhere, cat jumping about.
Right, okay.
Sun's out.
That's like every
everything's
American
happy.
film we've ever seen. Cornflakes, milk goes everywhere, cat jumping about. What film was that?
It happens a lot. Miss Doubtfire.
Miss Doubtfire. She's not married in this one. This is the
anyway.
prequel.
Listen.
This was
Politically correct Ms. Doubtfire is the
Yeah,
college
yeah,
years.
yeah.
This does me in this.
Go on.
So, there they are. Everyone's tuning in, going, this is a nice, pleasant film. Little love
Yeah, the
story.
cat's going, man. There's milk everywhere.
Yeah.
Well,
Anyway,
Clive Owen and his girlfriend who's 20 years older than him.
yeah. Why isn't the cat licking up the milk that's everywhere and on the walls and everything? The cornflakes, just like the cornflakes. Go on, yeah.
So-
this must be an American film. The cat's being thrown around with milk.
Clive Owen,
Yeah.
he leaves the house. She's waving to him out the window, cleaning up the milk, going, oh, I can't wait to see you, mouthing that, I love you and all that
Yeah.
out the window.
Yeah.
Bus comes, dead.
Right.
Well, Owen.
Clive Owen.
Clive Owen's
Yeah.
dead, right?
Right.
She's devastated.
Yeah.
Of course.
She thinks she's lost a lover.
No,
Anyway,
yeah.
she goes to the
Got
doctor.
a cat to deal with.
Yeah,
and the dead
no
body.
point crying
Goes to
over
the
spilled milk.
doctor,
What? Yeah.
says, oh, I'm sick of this, I'm depressed, I really miss him. The doctor, he goes, listen, got a bit of good news. We can now put a bit of his brain in your head.
Right.
Well, as I pointed out, why in the name of Christ would they
Because-
ever have that done? Why would
because-
anyone have a bit of their dead boyfriend's brain put in their head?
Well, you haven't been in the situation, so you can't say
No,
that.
and I never will be, because I
No.
will say to that doctor, I'm having you struck off, you're a maniac.
Listen,
Call
think
the
about it,
police.
think about it.
Go on.
I think Suzanne would want it, my girlfriend would want this.
Definitely
If
not.
I got hit by a bus, the human brain is in 2 bits. They found out recently. In fact, here's a bit of new information that wasn't on the podcast
Go
when
on.
we were talking
It's
about that.
exclusive.
Yeah.
It is.
If you are studying medicine, turn off the radio now.
Right, people will email in with this.
Okay.
It'll be on my side. We've got 3 brains. I've just dropped that one into you.
Right, what
So
does that
anyway-
mean?
What?
What does that
Three
mean?
brains. You mean me, you, and Ricky?
We've
have
got to
three
finish the
brains
film
between-
idea, but listen.
Go on.
There's a film in you. There's a brain in your stomach.
Jesus.
Honest to God.
Only if you're a cannibal.
Honest to God.
Right,
So
go
anyway,
on then.
so let's move on.
Yeah.
So anyway, so if I said so I'm mixed up here now. I don't know. Am I telling you the film idea?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right then. So
You're Carl Pilkington.
Rebecca De Mornay, she's missing her husband. The doctor says we can now take a bit of his brain out and put it in your
Doctor
brain.
says, I haven't seen you for 20 years, love.
Yeah. What do I remember you from?
Oh, yeah, were you
Let me just IMDb you.
No hits. No, you haven't come up, love.
Anyway, the idea is
Go on.
that the brain, she has half of her brain taken out.
Right.
Half of
Because anyone would do that.
So she's had some of her brain removed. They've not just bolted a bit of his brain on.
No, moved.
Right. Okay.
Right.
So she's lost some of her brain. Okay.
Yeah.
So she's now a vegetable. but
Voluntarily, yeah, okay, yeah.
They
Right.
put in his half.
Yeah.
So when she's going about a day in the morning, she's knocking the milk over again and milk everywhere and the cornflakes.
Of course she is now. She's got half her brain missing. She probably can't even walk.
So Clive's still going, oh, you silly sod, and all that.
Yeah.
And she's going, oh, I know. It's like the old times. But
Right.
she's still living with him because she's getting his memories and sight and stuff.
Right.
He's always seeing what she's seeing. They can chat.
Yeah.
And basically, it just goes to show how you can have, like, how love is like a love of 2 brains.
Absolute.
Oh, Wow.
One of the most stupid ideas for a film I have ever heard in my life.
No.
Well, I mean, just
an idea,
So
isn't
now
it?
it's so now Clive Owen's not even in it. It's just his voiceover. So now it's Rebecca De Mornay going around knocking over milk because she's
She's essentially a vegetable.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, brilliant.
the thing is though, and those sort of chats are exactly why this. I mean, it's a load. I mean, the chats are a load of rubbish like that.
Oddly
They're
enough, though,
so
that's going to be on
successful.
ITV drama in 3 weeks' time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it will be. And
Yeah.
everyone will be saying, that's good. Who's come up with that?
Carolyn
I never
Quentin
get
and
the
Jimmy
phrase.
Nesbitt
Do you know what,
in
Greg?
The
I've
Love
come
of
up-
Two Brains.
I've come up with loads of stuff
Yeah.
that I see on the Dragon's Den.
No, you
I've
haven't.
told you about. I came up with a clippable mat.
Yeah.
That was a good idea. You went poo-pooed it.
Yeah.
I came up with a see-through toaster. Someone's done it.
Right.
And I came up with something else.
Do you know? We asked him what the best invention he's ever seen was. He said mops they put on cats' feet because he said because cats never do anything around the house. That the best invention.
No.
Unbelievable.
Well, what does your cat do? I don't know why you have that cat. does me head in. Does nothing around the house. Mopes about, does nothing. All I'm saying is stick some little mops on its feet, and when it's rolling around doing nothing, at least it's cleaning something.
and that is why this is one of the most successful podcasts ever made. You've got to go, I think. You've got to go somewhere else, haven't you, in a second?
Yeah.
But thank you so much for coming in.
Hey, if you're in Bournemouth, Brighton or Birmingham, I'm coming to see you next week with my live tour, Science. Steve, got anything to flog?
What else you got?
Freezer.
Carl, last word, why should they buy this DVD?
Just because, I don't know, really. Just
Brilliant.
nice
See you in Bournemouth. Bye, everybody. Tatty bye. Tatty bye.
Questions for Carl, just to sort of try and tap into his brain, see what's going on there.
Yep.
The questionnaire that is often featured at the end of the TV programme Inside the Actor's Studio. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Is that how it works?
Oh.
No,
What do you mean? What's the question?
Well, I don't know. You hear so many other things that you have to go through other gates. I can't imagine him being on the door, is what I'm saying. If he owns a place, what's he doing there? He could put anyone on it.
It's St. Peter, isn't it, who's normally minding the gates, famously.
Right, so it's him asking me.
Okay, well, let's say it's St. Peter.
No. You go through the gate. Peter goes, oh, you're expected. He's got an appointment. We're going through to God. Go through a few doors. Go up top floor. Right, past the executive washroom into his big office. Okay, that overlooks the universe.
So what?
So you've gone in to see God. It's an audience with God. You've died. You've gone to heaven. And what would you like God to say to you at that point?
Probably just say, you've done well and that in your life. You never did anybody any harm. So, welcome to heaven. Any problems, give us a shout. Here's a little layout of like a little map. It's kind of like.
I love this. This is a great answer. And my favourite one is you never did anyone any harm. That's great. That's a brilliant thing for God to say.
Yeah.
So hang on, he's giving you a little map.
So he's got a little map of the area.
Map,
It's
and
big.
he'll sort of say, this is where you go for this is where you go for that. I'd probably ask him about the ghost situation. I'd say, am I now a ghost then? Or is this just like another planet that I've come onto?
Right.
I don't know if he'd answer that. I don't know if he'd be sort of a bit...
Bit cagey.
Yeah, a little bit like, well, I don't want to panic you and stuff. I'd say, right, is it right that I can see past family and that? Because, to be honest, I'd probably prefer to stay away. No, but because the thing is, if you've done I've done all that in this life, so it's about moving on to another life and meeting different people, isn't it?
Yeah.
Otherwise, what's the point? It's just like the same all over again, but everywhere's white. I mean, I don't know if it is like
Do you
this.
think God would like this podcast?
Well, I suppose it just kills half an hour, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, but time's not a problem for him, is it?
Yeah, it is, because he lives for ages, so he needs loads of filler. I bet he's, doing stuff that is just like, I'm not really into this, but it's something to do, isn't it?
Sudoku and stuff.
But I think there'll be just as many problems up there as there is here, because at least people are leaving here, whereas up there, that's the thing that I'd be worried about the most, actually, that it's really crowded. Because it's years and years of dead people, isn't it? London does me head in. Up there, it's going to be well busier than that.
What about teenagers, and do you feel that life was better in, say, the 1950s?
I don't know, I wasn't around. So
but you understand what it was like in those days? You've seen Happy Days.
I don't know, people always say, don't they? Old people always say, it's a better life in the 50s. And it's like, yeah, it was for them. Of course it was for them. They're old now. Being old isn't great, is it? So you're just happy with your lot. I suppose I was happiest in about 1984.
Right. Specific year.
Why? Why was that?
It's just I was free and happy. Do you know what I mean?
How old were you?
I don't know.
He's just counting on his fingers now.
12.
Right, okay.
And it was just good.
So the happiest days of your life were between the age of 12 and 13?
Yeah, it was good. I had the world ahead of me.
Little did you know your hair was going to fall out and you were going to whinge every minute of the day.
I had my bike. I like messing about my bike. You had your mates. I had a pet magpie.
So you were probably the teenager that you eventually hate?
Probably.
Were you a good lad, law-abiding?
I wasn't bad. I just sort of, just potted about. I mean, when people talk about what was on the telly back then, I don't have that much memory of it, because I was always out. I was always playing out.
What were you doing when you were out?
Just playing about, just like on a bike or...
Just riding in a circle endlessly through
you,
blizzards,
I loved it.
rain, sleet,
Loved it.
hail.
I never seemed to be in. I was always when everyone always goes, "Where were you when Band Aid was happening?" I was always out on my bike, and everything was
Like
like
you and McGregor.
a memory's always sort of like coming in for some orange and looking at the telly and seeing Princess Diana's getting married, and my mum says, "Have you seen this?" And I'm going, "Oh, I'm going out on my bike." I was always doing that. The only time I was in my house.
This is why you don't know anything, because you never stopped.
Yeah, but this is what being a kid's about.
But
That's
all
what I
the
mean, being
information
free.
you have, Carl, is as though you've gleaned it as you raced by on a bike. It's almost like, you know, every piece of information you have.
Your hair blowing in the wind. Carl, your hair will blow out one day. Oh, don't talk stupid, ma'am.
was easy. So yeah, 12 to 13 was good.
But you see...
And it was all downhill from then, was it?
13 is your teenager then, aren't you? Life got tough.
Yeah. How did it get tough?
Just straight away when I was 13, my mum was like, you know, "Oh, it's your 13th birthday, you're a teenager now."
Right.
And she gave us a quid to go and get a cake to celebrate it. Went to the supermarket, got a cake, and I just thought, I don't like the look of this. Don't like the look of the way the future is here.
On his 13th birthday!
Well, you were buying a cake. What did you see at the supermarket?
It was kind of like, I don't know, I suddenly felt grown up, and I didn't like it.
But I think you were always about 58, really, with your outlook.
Well, yeah, my mum always said I was old. She said I was an old baby. She said I could frown before I could walk. So they always had a bit of a worry look on my face. Didn't say much, just always listened. My eyes moved about more than I did. Just sat there looking around, looking stressed.
My eyes moved about more than I did. Oh dear, couldn't walk. Well, I can't walk, but I'll try and get a bit of movement in my face. It's a workout, a baby workout. Oh, babies, well, if you can't walk, what about your face? Let your face do the walking.
It sounds like that horror film. It sounds like Pilkington's Baby.
Yeah.
Just you lying there in your cot.
I didn't like all the stuff that's set up for you. Like, my mum tried to send me to, like, a nursery. I said, "No, I'm not having this."
Just like that.
I said when I'm older and I've got to go, I'll go, but let's leave out this bit. And she said, "All right." She was,
I love that he could reason with her. I love him. He's 3 years old with a pipe. She's going, "You go to the nurse." She goes, I think not, Mum.
I mean, kids don't play out, do they? Kids, you know, parents are scared to let the kids play out, and that's why the streets are dangerous now, because no one's playing out on the streets. Whereas when I was a kid, everyone was out on the streets. The streets were safer because there was more people knocking about.
Right.
Let the kids play out.
It must be like a constant, like a Lowry painting. His front garden. Do you know what I mean? Just loads of people just
There was
walking
never any
around.
problems. I was sort of taken away by some fella.
What? Hang on a minute.
No, I was playing about in the garden.
Yeah.
But my dad's mate Tony,
Yeah.
he did tiling with him. He drove past, and he saw me looking a bit fed up, so he just leant over, picked me up, took me to the pub. Now the thing is, there wasn't panic. People weren't going, "Oh God, where's Carl gone?"
He's out.
Just.
How old were you?
He's down the pub. He's 4 years old, yeah. Well, he's only having a...
He's down the pub with Tony, probably playing darts.
Yeah, I was about 3 or 4.
Sorry, so some bloke drives by who happens to be a friend of your dad's, thinks that baby looks grumpy.
Yeah.
I'm taking him down to
But
the pub.
that's what it was
Tony,
like.
you bringing a baby to the pub? Yeah, I might do. Yeah, we'll bring in ours. All right, see you later, mate.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Whereas now they go, "The baby's gone." There's a big full-on panic going
Yeah,
on.
but I think it says more about your parents that they didn't do that. They looked out in the back garden, you were gone. Some bloke's driving off in a van. They're just going, "Oh, well,
We rode down the pub.
doesn't Princess Diana look lovely?" This is absurd. So what happened when you got down the pub?
I just was there for a bit, and then
For a bit, just had a game of pool.
then my dad came in. It was like, "Oh, there you are."
Oh, there you are! I love that! Where's my baby? I'm just going to have a quick pint. Oh, there you are. All right, mate.
So, yeah, I think things were better back then.
Well, it's that time again.
It's Carl's diary.
Oh, what's he written today?
Told Suzanne that I had read that we will have spoken to aliens by the year 2025. Ricky once told me that if a lion could speak English, it still couldn't have a good chat with us because its life is different to ours. If that's true, we've got no chance with an alien. I'd be worried that an alien could read my mind. I had that problem once years ago, when I worked in a studio making cassettes. Some mind-reading woman was having some cassettes made. She waited while I did them. She had a small dog. I knew she was trying to read my mind, so I just thought about the dog. I thought that would confuse her, because she wouldn't understand why I was thinking about her dog.
That's amazing.
So, firstly, how did you know she was a mind-reading woman?
Everybody who came in having cassettes done, you'd find out about what the job is. So, you know, if it's a band or whatever, it might be a police station needing blank cassettes to interview people.
Yeah.
And she had them to sort of use during a thing where they do mind reading and stuff. So
Right.
you get a
recording of
of
the.
it.
Yeah.
And she was just there and she was staring at me like that, just looking over. And the dog was sort of looking worried, and they pick up vibes, don't they?
No.
They do.
And why was
Were they looking? I'm not being funny. Were they looking at the roundness of your head? Do you
They
think?
were just looking at me, and I was sort of panicking a bit. And the more that I was thinking she's reading my mind, I was thinking she knows that I know that she's reading my mind. So I just stopped thinking about her reading my mind. Thought about the dog
What were you thinking about the dog?
running about on the beach.
He remembers what he was thinking.
No, just so she thought, oh, hang on a minute, it's not his mind, it's the dog's mind I'm picking up.
Oh, so you thought she'd go? Oh no, I'm getting all taken up. I've got a cross line here.